G'day, it's Paul here. I've got the kayak in tow. I'm bringing it down to the water, and the mission today is to get out on the water and see if I can catch some fish before some stormy weather is forecast later for this afternoon. So the location today is Lauriston Reservoir. Wasn't going to come fishing this afternoon because there was a forecast of some rain and possible storms, but it feels like it's still a little way away. So I'll stay out here as long as I can. If it starts to get stormy, I'll head back in pretty quickly. But I wonder whether this weather might stir the fish up a little bit. I'll be trolling, starting with this little lure here, the old mate, which has been catching me a few fish, and the Duo Realis crank, which I haven't used for a while. And the target species, well, you can get anything here really. Redfin, yellow belly, trout have been going at those bigger lures as well. Cod, it's closed season, so I won't be targeting cod or putting on the biggest lures. If I do get one, I'll put it back quickly and do a lure change up. The other challenge for me here today is to see if I can get back on the board at this reservoir. Last time I was here about a week and a half ago, didn't get a single fish, which is pretty unusual. This is normally a fairly productive reservoir for at least some type of fish. Met a really nice fella, Alan, who'd been watching the videos, said he'd watched a lot of them the night before and just had a bit of almost a premonition that we would meet the next day, which we did. So it was a nice afternoon on the water, but no fish. So let's see if this trip has anything more in it. I've stopped here in this little bay. I've got the soft plastic rod rigged up. A bit of casting off that point there. Just see what this weather does. Then I'll make a decision whether to keep going or call it a day. No luck with the casting, but it's not all completely bad news. The weather has settled down and I'm going to push on. If I can just get one reasonable fish before this weather beats me, I'd be happy. Look at that. Water is like glass. For the time being anyway. I have a really good fish on. Something has hit this really hard. I expect it might be a cod. If it is, I'll get it in quickly and get it back in the water. Geez, I can't even remember what lure I've got on this side. Oh, that's right, it's the Duo Realis. Let's take this fish slowly. As you can see, the wind has really picked up again. I'd be astonished if this is not a cod. Feels like a good size too. I think it's almost at the surface. Kayak is really getting blown along here. just got sight of it. Yeah, it's a nice big cod. Oh, there we go. Not the target species, but let's get just a really quick look at this and then get that fish back in the water. Okay, there it is. I won't measure it because I'm going to get it back quickly, but I would say it's about a 65 centimetre fish, so a nice out of season cod which needs to get back in the water and do its thing. Okay, see ya, cod. You might have seen that I've done a whole video on these little duo crankbaits. It was called The Secret to a Sensational Stretch. And in that video, I certainly pointed out that they've caught me lots of cod, but they've also caught me lots of other fish too. Some big redfin actually at this end of the reservoir, trout and yellow belly. So that was the intention today. It's unlikely, I think, that Murray cod would be breeding in this reservoir as opposed to the rivers, but still it is close season, so I will, I'll take this little one off, put something else on that hopefully might get me a yellow belly or a redfin or a trout. Trolling on. Well, I said about half an hour ago that if I could get one or two decent fish and beat this weather, then I'd be happy. So I guess I've done that. I've got one decent fish, that's for sure. But I'm going to keep going and see if I can hold out a little bit longer before it gets too wild. Okay, I've got another fish on. It's a one well lunch lure. I'm not really sure what it is. To make matters worse, I've got the net behind me from that last fish. This is going to be awkward. Got it. I'm sort of wondering whether it's a trout. It's got a bit of fight to it. Not overly heavy, but it's got a bit of fight. What do we got? Oh no, it's a redfin, a good sized redfin. Lovely. There it is. It's measured about 30 centimetres and it's on that orange one well lunch, which got me a really good sized trout here back a couple of months ago. So that redfin's released. I think we'll keep moving while I can. So I've actually made my way all the way down to the river end of the reservoir, which was deliberate. There are some really nice bays and fishy areas at the other end of the reservoir, which I've caught a lot of fish from in the past, but that's where I explored during my last trip here and didn't have a lot of luck. So I thought I would try to come down to the furthest ends of the reservoir today, and it seems to have worked with a couple of fish so far. Okay, I am on again. It feels like a reasonable sized fish. Not as, although I think it's just got off. Oh well, there's a bit of action happening, so hopefully another fish isn't too far away. That was on that little red, black and yellow old mate. I'd say it was probably a redfin. Okay, I've got another fish on that feels fairly decent again on the one well lunch. I'm sensing it's probably another reasonable size redfin. Yeah, it looks, oh, that's a good redfin. That is a big one. Definitely want to get a look at that fish. Wow, that is a chunky redfin. Let's get that fish out, give it a measure. I reckon it looks like it's probably close to 40 centimetres. There it is. I've just given it a measure. It's gone 41 centimetres, and it's a nice fat redfin. So it's 2 fish in about 15 minutes and another one that I've lost. So there's a bit of action here. Let's see if I can get any more. Here it goes. See a redfin. When I made the late decision to come out this afternoon, I thought this fishing trip could be a disaster. I thought the weather might close in quicker than I expected and I'd have to turn around and go home again. Or I thought maybe with a bit of a change in the weather coming, the fish might be fired up. Thankfully, it was the latter. Let's see if there's any more out there. The rain is starting to settle in again, but it's calm. I can cope with rain. I've got the dry gear on. It's just that wind that we really want to avoid. Even though there's a bit of action down at this end of the reservoir, I'm going to start heading back towards the car because it is a long way from the car and the weather's looking ominous. I don't want to get stuck so far away from the car if it gets a bit stormy, but it would be good to be able to stay down here and cast some soft plastics and vibes and blades and troll around a bit longer. But you never know what might happen on the way back. I think I have another fish on. I suspect it's a redfin and probably not as big as that last one. Here it comes. Yeah, just a little little-ish redfin on that orange old mate. There it goes. Could have netted it, but it wasn't worth it. One of the reasons why I like trolling so much in these impoundments is it really allows you to find where the fish are, and most of those fish that I've caught so far today have all been around the same spot. I reckon I could have cast and trolled around the end of the reservoir where I launched from for a long time, and I probably wouldn't have caught any fish, but by getting out and covering water, quite often you'll find where they are. Hopefully I'll find a few patches on the way back to the car as well. You're not going to believe this. I have another tiny little redfin and I didn't even know it was on. Look at the size of that fish compared to the lure. They're feisty little things, aren't they? All right, let's have a look at it. There it is. Yeah, didn't even know it was on. I thought it was some weed actually on the lure. See a little redfin. So I'm about 3/4 of the way back from the river end where I caught most of those fish. The cod was a little further back, but that was sort of around that end of the reservoir. And first fish that I've caught that little redfin on the way back, but still got another 10 or 15 minutes to go, so we'll see how that goes. Lauriston weed. It's a curse. It's always fouling up the lures, but I think these rich weed beds are also what makes this such a good fishery, so I won't complain. I have another little fish on. Presume it's a redfin. Just put on a little crank that I haven't used much. I think it's a 13 fishing crank. Oh no, it's the Bassman Tubby. Not hooked very well, that fish. It might get off, but let's see. Oh, no, there we go. So, starting to pick up a few fish towards the wall end of the reservoir, but pattern seems to be big fish at the river end of the reservoir at the moment, and little fish at the wall end. But you never know. I'm going to keep going just for a little bit longer. There might be something more decent. Oops, there goes that fish. All right, let's troll on. Well, here I am back at the wall end of the reservoir in the car. I'm not going to tempt fate by staying out any longer because I've got more fishing in today than I expected with the threatening weather. And I got onto a few good fish as well, so really happy with that. And I've got an early morning tomorrow morning off over to Shepparton to the Murray Conference to hear Robbie Alexander and others speak, which should be a good day. I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to bringing you some more soon.